Welcome to Her World, Her Words. Our next guest is a living example that dreams don't come with an expiry date and that learning truly has no age limit. She began her journey in the world of finance, qualifying as a cost accountant and working with Nestle. Then she chose to pause her professional career to embrace one of life's most beautiful roles, motherhood. But her story didn't stop there. After raising two children, she courageously went back to university, earned a law degree, and enrolled as an advocate in 2009. Driven by her passion for children and education, she went on to pursue a diploma in child rights law and dedicated herself to making a difference in young lives. At the age of 50, she fulfilled a lifelong dream by publishing Hidden Gems, a children's book written not for profit but to spread values and inspire young minds. Today, she continues to expand its reach while also volunteering with NGO Swayam, teaching and mentoring children from underserved communities. She is an accountant, a lawyer, an author, a lifelong learner, and above all, a woman who proves that every chapter of life can be a new beginning. Please join me in welcoming our inspiring guest, Jayashree Vishwanath.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for having me here.
It's our pleasure to have you on our show today, Jayashree. Thank you so much for taking out time. So I'm going to just dive right into the first question. Tell us about your childhood. Though I have known you for such a long time, Jayashree, but I would still want you to tell our viewers, talk about your childhood. What are some values your parents instilled in you that still guide your life today?
I've lived all my life in Delhi. I was born in Bhopal and with schooling, college, everything in Delhi. Middle class upbringing. Parents were not very educated. They had family responsibilities. They went off to work early in order to support the family. But they were very sure that we sisters, I have one elder sister, they were very sure that we will study well, study as much as we want. They didn't push us into marriage or anything. And obviously, I mean, I think the basic middle class values that we all normally carry about, being honest and being good. I've seen my mother, serving even the maids in the house or anyone who comes. It was always right from the same plate that we have. She also used to have that everybody is one, irrespective of religion, caste, creed, nothing like that. My dad was one of the most soft-spoken persons I have known all my life. Never heard him raise his voice and all, and he also, I mean, there was never this thing that you have to come, those first, second, third position in school. You had to study well, do the best, your effort. You don't do well, you do better the next time. And when my sister got married, like people started asking whether, I'm next in line, whether they're going to look for a guy for me. And my father used to say that no, she will study as much as she wants to. She will work for a few years. She will stand on her own feet before I even think of getting her married. And that's what he did. So those are the values, my parents' blessings and the values that they have given, which have held me in good stead till now. And you would see later about the book that I have written. So those are those values which I have wanted to just take it forward and try and tell the children of today about the same.
Wow, that is so amazing, Jayashree. Thank you for sharing that. And, having interacted with uncle and auntie during our college days, I can so connect to whatever you said just now. I can just imagine uncle saying that, no, go ahead, study, So it's so nice for you to be sharing that. Thank you.
And I think it's such an optimum example of simple living, high thinking.
Yeah.
Because you said that everything was simple, yet the thinking was so high that you have to educate the girls, not marry them.
Correct.
So that's so beautiful to hear. So I think you started your career in finance with Nestle. At that point, did you ever imagine that life would eventually turn and it will take such a different turn for you?
No, not at all. So I did my cost accountancy while I was in college. In the sense, I was pursuing the classes while I was doing my BCom honors, and then went on to. There were one or two small jobs I had done earlier, but then went on to work in Nestle as in the accounts department, and that's when my cost accountancy result also came out. But then I was happy with the job I was doing, and but then got married while I was in Nestle. I continued to work even after marriage. But once I conceived, I said, okay, now enough is enough, because accounts, I think, like any other profession now, is demanding. So,
100%.
and we were in a sales office. So, you had this monthly sales closing. So, late nights, 11, 12 was common during the monthly closings and travel and all. Husband was busy setting up his own profession. So I said, one parent needs to be around. And I was very happy to do that because I was very fond of children. I still am. So maybe in fact, actually at one point, going back to the previous question, when I was in school, all the colony kids, the little ones, we used to be the de facto caretakers. The moms want to go out, the kids would be left in our house. And I used to tell my dad, I think I'll open a creche when I
Oh,
grow
that's
up.
lovely. That's so cute.
So I was very clear. I said, I'm not going to do a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
And I quit when my elder daughter was to be born.
Uh-huh.
So I was enjoying motherhood, and the younger one came in. And then we were actually staying in a lawyer's colony. So we had the other ladies also who were going to pursue law. So they said, why don't you do that? So I said, okay, I mean, because I had the family support and all, I said, let me do that. No harm in, doing something different.
Correct.
And the education won't go waste.
Right.
So maybe accounts was still my first love at that point of time, but then law was something interesting, till now you'd seen it only in movies.
Right.
And then obviously I got married to a lawyer, and the dinner table conversations were always about law.
Right.
And so I said, okay, no harm. So just then went on to do my law after my second kid was born.
Yeah.
So
You make it sound so easy. Like I was at Nestle, then I had children, then I did law. But I think it was not that easy. It didn't happen overnight. It sounds so organic and so easy when you talk about it. But I'm sure it's going to have its own share of hardships, which we are going to talk about
but
because
now when I'm talking to you, I realize that yes, because my younger one was probably just about a year or something when I decided to get into law.
correct.
So I
Okay.
used to wait for her to sleep at night, and then I remember making those notes and studying and all. Now that when you talk about it, I
Yeah.
realize yes, but it was good fun because I think I was doing what I want. I was enjoying what I was doing, so it was never a pressure. And I said, "नहीं clear नहीं होगा तो नहीं होगा." That's all. I mean, there's no harm in trying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
It was driven by passion. So
yeah, I guess so.
yeah.
So you made the decision to step away from your career to fully embrace motherhood. Looking back, as mothers, as working professionals, I'm sure there are times when you feel, okay, did I take the right decision? So what is the thought that comes to your mind, and what do you feel about that decision that you took?
See, at that point of time, that decision seemed the best decision that I've taken. I still don't regret it. I'm very happy I took that decision. And there maybe have been times when I thought, did I do the right thing or not? I was not having a income of my own coming into my account at the end of every month. And the usual, I mean, you would have some fights with the kids or, the usual family tiffs, and then you think, this is what I left my job for. But then, yes, in retrospect, no regrets at all. I'm very happy that I took the decision I did. And maybe that helped me venture on to do law and, take the path that I am in now.
Right, right.
So, which would probably not have been if I had not quit at that point of time.
Absolutely. I think a very fulfilling role you fulfilled, when you became a mother and you decided that this is what you want to do. Maybe it was a more complete thing for you and, really shaped your life's experiences.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic.
I loved spending time with the kids, and I made it a point to be at home when they come back from school, and those small things gave me a lot of joy.
Correct.
And so I was very clear. I said I'm going to have the kids because I want to have the kids, not because I'm not going to leave them with someone else.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a very strong decision because so many working women have these challenges. They have to go out to work and leave their kids behind at creches, or of course, if they have supportive family, that's a blessing. But then to be able to take that decision, no, I want to be there for my kids. I think that is strength of character.
Yeah, yeah. And I think only a woman has a strength to start, stop, start again, and then maybe just stop again, and then start all over again. Only a woman. You can't expect that from a man because when a man starts, no offense, when a man starts, stops, then it takes a very long time for him to start again. But only a woman has that. I'm going to start, stop, and I'm going to come back again. So, talking of courage, how did you get the courage and confidence to get back to law after having children?
See, law was something, like I said, before I got married, law was something very new for me.
Yeah.
Till then, it was something only that you've seen in movies, that Tariq pe Tariq types and all that.
That's a good one. Tariq pe Tariq.
Then, having seen my husband work, my father-in-law is also a lawyer, so the conversations at dinner table, much to our annoyance at that point of time. So my mother-in-law used to be like, these men have started again. So in fact, it was a constant joke that sitting in the car, if my husband and my father-in-law are talking, and my mother-in-law used to say that किसी signal पे अगर हम उतर भी जाएं, they won't even realize.
That's a cute one.
So, but then I had heard about law all the time, and
Correct.
I think I had mentioned earlier that we were in a lawyer's colony. So it was more like a picnic that we said, okay, we'll start going for classes again. We used to go for camps, visit to the parliament, attend classes, make notes and exchange notes, go for exam at, I had not even heard of the place, Charkhi Dadri by then. So go to Charkhi Dadri for the exams. So it was all an experience. I did it like a fun thing, absolutely. I said, पढ़ाई वेस्ट नहीं जाएगी so whether I use it, whether I go back to actual practice, or whether I start assisting my husband in the office, I said let me just do it. If I'm able to do it well and good, then I'll take a call what happens later. So I think that courage of being with friends and doing it like a picnic type thing, maybe I said no harm in trying it out, and did my law. Then I went on to start assisting my husband, little bit of law, and then my first love again, accounts, admin. So
Okay.
continued to do that till I think COVID struck, and then everything went online, and so then things have again changed after that.
But the very fact it started as fun, as you said, it started as fun and then it got serious. I think such a beautiful way of doing something in life. Like just pick up something you like, just dive into it, and then just see where it goes. And for you, I think it's doing wonders. From accountancy to lawyer, like you've shifted gears, but in such a good way. That's so impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And having gone to college with Jayashree, I can vouch for her love for accounts for sure. So for her to move from that to law and then still have that same zeal and passion for law, amazing. So in fact, that brings me to my next question. You have always maintained there's no age limit to learning, right? So was there a particular moment in your life that truly reinforced this belief for you?
I mean, I don't think a particular moment or anything like that. It's just that, like I said, when kids were growing up or something, then you think, okay, maybe I can do something else, use my time more productively.
Yeah.
So that's when I thought, okay, let me do this. Because I knew I would never go back to a 9 to 5 job. So because again in accounts, I knew all that I will not be able to manage. I mean, hats off to working women who are able to manage both home and I don't think I would have had that capability or that. So I said I can do one thing at a time. But when kids were growing up, they were off to school. I said let me try this out, and then I went on to do my law.
Wow. It still requires a lot of courage to be able to do that, because I just remembered you mentioned, your daughter would be sleeping and you would be sitting and doing your notes. It requires so much courage because that is the time when you want that shut eye too. She's sleeping, let me also sleep for some time, right? So at that time to be able to sit and do your notes, wow, amazing.
No, truly, truly very, very inspiring. And I think this can only happen if you have a strong family support or there are people backing you up. Because one day you wake up and you think that I want to be a lawyer and I want to start doing law because it's fun. But for that, the backing has to be there. So, how was your family and your in laws and your husband? How were they like when you came up with the decision that now I want to be a lawyer?
I think, I mean, I'm blessed that way because I had the support of the whole family. Everyone really encouraged me to, pursue what I wanted to do. So there was full support of my husband, obviously, right from, coaching me to clearing my doubts. And my in-laws were very, very supportive. I mean, leaving a 1-year-old and attending classes and, going for exams and all wouldn't have been easy, wouldn't have been done if I didn't have their support. So, right from handling the house to managing the kitchen or picking up children from the school, everything they did without any questions asked. So they just said, you concentrate on your college and you study. Don't bother about the house. We'll manage that. So,
Wow.
and my father-in-law, obviously, when being a lawyer, he was very happy with more people wanting to do law.
Joining the community.
Yeah.
Welcome, welcome.
Now more people can be in the car and
Yeah.
talk. And they
Yeah.
can have the
And now my elder
conversation.
daughter is also a lawyer. Now she's a
Yeah.
fourth generation lawyer.
Oh, lovely.
So-
lovely. Yeah.
And my younger one was very clear. She says, enough lawyers in the family. I'm not going to do law now.
Yeah.
So, but, a big thank you to them. I wouldn't have been able to do without their support. A big thank you to my daughters also because, as a 2-year-old, 3-year-old, my younger one would say, Amma needs to do ABC. For her, studying means ABC. So, but they gave me that time, they gave me that space.
And
That
the
yes,
support,
they they won't disturb me at that point of time. So, a big, big thank you to all of them.
I think that's the right example of a modern family. Not somebody who takes like vacation. That's also a good thing if you do, but a family that supports its women at every age. And so beautifully you've put that they would not come in and tell you that now do this, do that. They would give you your space.
Correct.
So that's you're truly blessed.
And the pride that I could see in their when they could tell their relatives or tell friends, be it my father or my in-laws, that she's done her law, so she studied. So
I can imagine. Yeah.
There is that dialogue that we often hear, behind every successful man, there is a woman. But to say behind a successful woman, there is this whole family that is supporting her. For a woman to be successful, it is not just the man of the house, it has to be the whole setup. And I think that in your case is so true. So you've had such a beautiful life, Jayashree, so many milestones, so many memories, so many achievements. But what stands out for me is your 50th birthday, right? The gift that you gave yourself, Hidden Gems. Why was this milestone so important to you?
I used to write the diary every day, and that's something my husband used to encourage me. He says, you must write your diary and write your thoughts down all the time. And maybe at that point of time, bringing out a book was not in my mind anywhere. When I was, it's a daily diary that you write. But then 2019 and all, when COVID struck, there was so much of, sadness all around, and the family time that you spend was also precious. So small things like, just playing carom at night or, washing the dishes together, and everything just gave me joy. So at that point of time, again, my husband was the inspiration behind that. He said, you have these beautiful thoughts about, bringing up the children and values. Why don't you put it down in the form of a book? So he encouraged me to do that. I started noting it down. And then I said, okay, if this is going to bring me joy, I'll do it. It was not a very feasible time with publishers.
Yeah.
Everything was closed at that point of time. But then again, I used, like Shailaja knows about my thing about writing my notes, college notes. So I had a written manuscript for my Hidden Gems first. So then I put it onto the laptop. Then I looked for a publisher and all that. But then finally went into self-publishing. But then I said, this is going to be a 50th birthday gift to myself. That yes, I've, brought out something which will have my name on it. And it's something that I wanted to do. I wanted to spread those values. And that's how I think Hidden Gems came about.
Wow. I remember when you published the book and you sent out the link. I was one of the first ones to buy it off Amazon, and it really hit a nerve. The values that you have spoken about, and you have mentioned it in such a nice way, so interesting that even when kids read it, it's not going to be like, oh, ये तो बहुत ज्ञान है इसमें. It's not like that. In such a nice storytelling manner, you have managed to convey these beautiful values. I remember I was hooked. I had to, like just read the book, start to finish. So, so well done, Jayashree. I mean, as your friend, I'm so proud of you. It was, it was such a lovely book, and what better gift than this to give yourself on your 50th birthday, a milestone birthday and a milestone gift. It's like a legacy that you're leaving behind. So that's so amazing.
It was like when we were in school, we used to have these moral science classes and all,
Yeah,
Right, right.
correct.
And
Absolutely.
at that point of time, I'm sure most of us were not very for it. We thought because it's too preachy. I mean, do this, do that, which I realized that the kids nowadays don't really appreciate those, very firm yes or no's. So I said, okay, let me put something in a story-like manner, which they're able to relate to better. So even if the message reaches across to a few of them, I think it'll be my one good job done. So it'll be a pat on my back for myself. So
No,
but that was my idea. So
Yeah, no, truly. I think, and that is the USP of your book, that you have managed to say so much, but still say it through a story, so that kids can immediately connect to it. So it's a beautiful way of having presented those
in fact, now
values.
my next thing that I'm doing is I'm translating the book in Hindi
Oh, okay.
Ah,
for a
you'll have a wider
little wider
audience.
reach.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, that is nice.
That's a good
So you
idea.
heard this first on Her World, Her Words. This is an exclusive.
It is.
Yeah.
We got this first.
You can say this to the camera as well. This is coming out.
yes, I am working on the Hindi translation of my book, and I hope to bring it out soon.
So this is breaking news. Her world, her words.
Right. And I love the ease. I think I'm just repeating myself with which you talk. Like I was writing my diary, and one day I decided to write a book. I mean, it doesn't happen like that. I know I have been wanting to write a book, and I've been stuck on chapter 3, 4 since ages. And you talk so easily about it that I was writing a diary, then I thought I should write a book, and then I published a book. So it is so amazing. I love, and that talks volumes about you, that how easy you see
No, I have a
things.
strict master behind me also, my husband. He's like, today, you translated a few pages today. He says,
Yeah,
just don't sit on the bed, go sit on the table, get the office atmosphere, you'll be able to do it better.
Yeah.
So I do have a taskmaster behind me also, but
that is important.
yeah.
But still, we see life so complicated. Like, ye bhi hai, there's so much to do. And you're talking just easily that at night I would write a diary, and then I thought I'll just write a book. So that's amazing. But do you want to talk about the values that Hidden Gem talks about? And like, what is it basically about, if you want to tell our viewers?
So the Hidden Gems has 14 short stories in it,
Okay.
and each story has some value attached to it,
Okay.
a moral value which we'd want to inculcate in our children.
Mhm.
So there is honesty, there is good touch, bad touch, there is effects of social media and bullying and littering. I mean, I think Shailaja would have heard a lot about from college time.
Yeah.
So and then there's a story about where the mother gets remarried, about how to accept that,
Oh, okay.
about how to give the people who are working in your house, you need to give them also respect. So those are the stories that I have touched upon in the book in a story-like manner. So it's about the kids going on a camp to Ooty, and on the last day of the camp, they sit again around a bonfire, and they decide they're going to narrate a story from their life, which has taught them in some way. It could be either taught them something good to be done, or taught them something which should not be done.
Okay. Okay.
So
Very conversational way of
yeah,
saying
so
things.
without being preachy, in a story-like manner, which I thought the children could relate to. So the response I've got for their book has been very good. So maybe not in terms of sales, but in terms of reviews, yes.
No, I'm sure, because how you talk about it, it is so diverse. You're talking about 14 values, so
Yeah.
to say, and in a story-like form, what else a reader would want. No, that's a very good way of putting it. Yeah.
So the reviews that I've got is where the children have also said good, and the parents, like you said, parents have also given me a very positive feedback, saying yes, these are things that the children need to know. So
And especially in today's age, I feel, where kids are so much into mobile phones and iPads and laptops, for them to sit with a book like this and read a story and understand this, maybe a parent reading this book to a child, one, it brings back that parent child bonding, which I think today, I don't know how much of it is happening, because the kids are just glued to their digital devices.
also one story in my book.
I remember. So, which is why I think this has just come at the right moment. Because, right now, this awareness, of course, people are becoming aware, but, stories like your book is really going to reinforce this message a lot more.
So in fact, I had the first feedback was from obviously my husband, my sister, and I had to get my kids involved also. So I had to tweak some stories in some ways when I heard their feedback. So there is a story on a good touch, bad touch, where the daughter goes and tells her mother that she's uncomfortable about an uncle who comes to the house, hugging her and all, and the mother brushes it off and all.
Okay. Oh.
So at the end of it, when it actually happens, when the mother goes, the uncle is caught and all that. And so my daughters were like, the mother should now apologize to the girl. The mother should also realize that what she did was not right,
Right.
which I thought was correct. So that was also incorporated in the story, thanks to them.
So I think when you're dealing with such sensitive topics like good touch, bad touch, and you've also put it in a kid's book, so to say. So I'm very eager and excited to get my hands on this book and read it. And I'm sure our viewers are going to enjoy it too. So we can put the description of the book also in the description box.
That will be good.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
So, before we move on, let's get to know you a little better. If your closest friends had to describe you in one sentence, I know I'm a close friend, but we'll keep myself aside for a moment. What would they definitely say about you?
I think all my friends now, especially after having left school, college, they call me Fevicol. कि मैं जोड़ के रखती हूँ. I bind everybody together. But
Your Honor, I agree.
But maybe they would have had a different view while I was in school and college. Maybe school I was more quieter. College, I think people found me a little bossy, maybe, because what in my mind, what is right, what is wrong, I will just follow that. I would not agree to somebody saying something if I didn't feel it was right. So they are like, you're not flexible, and this is not how you move out in a group and all that. But I think I'm just made that way. I can't help it. So I think that's one word.
Yeah, and I still remember while I was in college, I was shy. Can you imagine me being shy? I was shy, and Jayashree was one of the first persons I met when I joined college, and she realized I'm a singer. She literally pushed me to one of the auditions that the college was organizing, and I was like, no, I don't think so. I'm still too new. And she, no, you must sing. She literally pushed me. So the bossy part, yeah, I think I do agree with that to some extent. But I'm so thankful to her because because of that, I got so well known in college. I became part of the Fine Arts Society, and my life's trajectory in college has changed.
And now with all your performances, I proudly say that Shailaja is my friend, and she's performing here, she's
That's
performing
so
there, and
Yeah, so someday see Jayashree has had a hand in that.
so in fact, for one of my birthdays, she had asked me, what gift do you want? So I had Yara Silly Silly, So I had said, I want that Yara Silly Silly sung in your voice. So she gave me an audio cassette at that point of time. I still have it in my house, but I don't have a cassette player now.
Yeah, I thought that was such a sweet thing to have asked me. I told my dad, go look for this movie. I have to learn this song. This is a gift for my friend.
So lovely.
Yeah,
That's
so
amazing.
wonderful memories. There's so much that I can say, but I would really want Jayashree to.
At college, Shailaja had come on Saregama. And it was like, so proud of her that, she's come on TV. I mean, growing up, coming on TV was like something impossible to achieve.
Those days. Now,
Yeah.
of course, every second person is on TV, but those days it really was a big deal. So I
Absolutely.
remember
Yeah,
she
yeah.
was like my, such a supportive friend.
But-
"Ye Shailja, go for it."
But would you say that push helped? The college push helped to get
Absolutely.
onto Saregama?
Absolutely. So I credit her, with pushing me onto that big stage in college. So totally, Jayashree.
Wow.
You have that thing right in there. Mindset is everything. So your
Yeah.
mindset is ki, just go for it.
Hmm.
ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या होगा? हारेंगे. You will learn from your failures.
Right.
Absolutely. So you just need to you have that
Correct.
mindset. Yes, I will do.
Beautiful.
If I win, well and good. If I don't,
You
still
learn. Yeah.
I learn from my failures.
Absolutely, absolutely. I
right.
think, we grew up together, and those memories have like really helped us become the person we are today. It has like
Absolutely.
really helped us so much.
Absolutely. I mean, to think that we are still in touch after we passed out of college. in
Yeah, let's
90
not discuss. Let's not talk about your ages. You're still very young.
I might know.
Just a few years ago.
My 50th birthday
Yes.
has already been disclosed.
Yes, we did talk
But
about
that-
that.
That's a part of your current story. Coming online, it's
Yes.
like I crossed
So
my
it's not
50th.
hidden much.
Correct. Yeah, I know. Again, another blooper.
So on my 50th birthday, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a current story we're going to put out.
Absolutely. For a woman to talk about her
Her
age, yeah.
and so gracefully.
Correct. Absolutely.
That's yeah.
Yes, sorry. So I cut you short when
No,
you
no,
said
no.
so many years of
Hmm.
college after.
Yeah,
So
I
we have
said,
stayed
yeah.
in touch. Yeah.
91, I think we passed out of college. 35.
So now everyone can guess our age. Correct. But we've stayed in touch all
Yeah.
these years.
I'm absolutely young at heart. You live. Let us go back to college again. I'm sure we will.
Yes, we'll blend right in.
I am
Yeah.
sure,
Oh
I'm
my
sure.
God. I'm like actually crying, getting so emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can we do a small rapid fire with you?
Oh my God.
It's a very easy one. Yeah.
Not the current Johor types.
We don't have a hamper. So,
We do have a little something.
Little something. So, I'll just quickly ask you questions and then you, without a thought, like, let's just make
Okay.
it rapid and full of fire, as Karan Johar says. So, chai or coffee?
Chai.
Mountains or beach?
Mountains.
Saris or pajamas? Or suits?
Suits. Thanks for adding that.
Early bird or night owl?
Night out.
Ah, that was quick. Yeah.
सुबह की नींद बहुत प्यारी है.
Yeah, that was good.
So many people put their dreams on hold because they think it's too late. What would you say to someone who wants to begin again but is afraid, especially women?
It's never too late to start something new. Everything, each day is a learning process in life. So if you're learning something new, it's something that you wanted to do. Don't hold back. Especially now, I think after COVID that you've seen, life is short. Do whatever you want to do. Don't just say I'll do it 5 years later, 10 years later. You want to do it now, do it now, so that you will be able to get the most benefit of doing it. So don't hold back for anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is something that all women need to tell themselves every single day, that it's never too late. I can do whatever I want anytime I want.
And I think and maybe Indian women are wired that way, that we give priority to the family, the
Right.
in-laws, the husband, the children all come first.
Correct.
It's only after that you will focus on yourself.
Yeah.
So
Which is why, what you have done is so inspiring, Jayashree. I mean, you have made time for your family, you have made time for your kids, for your in-laws, for your husband, but you still managed to put yourself out there. So that is why, your story is so inspiring, that you went on, you went back to college, you did your law, and then you wrote your book. So that is why it is so inspiring for women outside to hear about how you have been able to do all this. So thank you
yeah.
for sharing that.
Again, and thanks to the family support that I had at every step, that I've been able to do what I did now. So
Yeah, because you were absolutely right when you said, as women, we tend to put ourselves on the back burner always. Everything else takes precedence.
Yeah.
We are like, हमारा काम कल नहीं परसों कभी ना कभी तो we'll be able to do it. So for us to be able to take out that time and say, yeah, me time is important, I think we really need to be able to prioritize that. So thanks for sharing your life story.
Yeah. And I think you described yourself as Fevicol. I would describe you as a go-getter. Whatever you want, you're just getting it. So, and working hard for it, and not getting it on a platter. You're working hard for it and making it happen. So, I would describe you as a go-getter if I have to. And now we also know that you work with Swayam and you have this joy of teaching children from Govindpuri. So, what does that experience mean to you personally?
I think in the beginning I have said my love for children.
Children.
So now my kids have grown. One is working, one is in college in Bangalore. So another friend reached out to me and my sister. My sister was an English teacher. So she says there are some kids in this Govindpuri under the banner of Swayam, and they're looking for someone to teach them English.
Okay.
So would you volunteer for that? So it was like, it was something that again I had wanted to do, help society in some way. So when this opportunity came, I said, I'm not going to let it go. So we've been going, now I think it's been more than 1.5 to 2 years that we've been going. Once a week we go for the classes, but then we try and engage the children. We teach them English, teach them manners and etiquette, and take them for museums and heritage walks and picnics and all. So, and they are also very reciprocating, so it's like, they enjoy. So I was in Bombay and this boy calls up and he says, he called it was an unknown number, and I was like, should I pick it up or not? And he picked up and he says, ma'am, मेरा आज इंग्लिश का पेपर था, अच्छा हो गया, जो आपने आर्टिकल्स सिखाया था ना लास्ट क्लास में वो आया. So I was like, okay, that one class has made a difference to that one child's exam. So
Yeah.
small things like that, it gives you real joy. And when you go for the class, they come and hug you, and those thank you cards that they give you. Or on Teachers' Day, they gave me a chocolate and a rose and all. So it's like you feel very good about it. And
Instant validation.
absolutely, absolutely.
That's so amazing. And as you said, children give you joy. So doing this must have made you feel that top of the world.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And children calling you also, and Teachers' Day celebrating you. So that must. I
So we
can
try
only
and
imagine.
do, festivals also, even if it's Christmas. So we'll put up a small Christmas tree, and
Just making them involved in everything.
absolutely.
And
So that
engaged.
puja in my house, they come every year.
Oh, I remember, I think once when I came, you had those kids come.
Correct. So there are about 25, 30 of them who came. So they will come sing some bhajans, and also they also like that, they are involved, and
And included. Yeah.
Yeah.
so they are from not very well off families, obviously. So but then when you see the improvement in them, you see them getting more confident, you speak them conversing in English, you feel, yes, you've made a difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you doing this for this section of society, usually, we don't tend to give them that importance. So for you to be able to take out time and give them a piece of our life, so to say, by teaching them English, and for them to call you. So looking back, and you're still doing it, what have these kids taught you about life in general? Any new perspectives that you gained while working with these kids?
See, obviously they're coming, they are facing some hardships. Their family is obviously not very well off, but then they are very eager to learn. They come promptly for every class, be it rain or shine. So even yesterday I had a class, it was drizzling, but still the kids were there. So they are eager to come, which makes you, again, you want to go. If the kids were indifferent, maybe I would have also taken a back seat and not gone.
Correct.
But the kids were eager to learn, so it made me all the more, that we must go there every week. If they are looking forward to it, it's a small thing that you can do in, small way of giving back to society.
Absolutely.
And they are putting in their best efforts. So like, again, they want to do, so they are doing it. They will also learn. It may not be instant gratification. It's not that, once a week class, it's not that they're going to become experts. But then, yes, small things I know will hold them in good stead in life. So,
And somewhere you have contributed to that little difference that
Yeah.
has come about. Wow.
so their English is not very strong. Again, coming back to my book, it's written in a very simple language. So I tried making them read it aloud in the class, and I saw that they were still fumbling with some words, or they would ask me meanings. So the Govindpuri kids, the Swayam kids are one major factor for me to translate the book in Hindi.
Hindi.
Ah,
Because I want them to learn the values, and like the book has to have a wider reach. I realized if kids in Delhi are not able to understand this simple English, uh, despite our wanting to teach them,
Right.
correct.
but I said okay, for at least for the values I must translate the book in Hindi. And
Very thoughtful.
Wow. Yeah,
So-
I know. I mean, absolutely. I think your book will have a wider reach, not just in Delhi. If you translate it in Hindi, I think the entire northern belt.
correct,
You
correct.
know, you'll be able to reach so many kids who will learn so much from, the beautiful stories that you've written.
That's the idea. Let's see.
Yeah, fingers crossed and sending all beautiful energies to the universe.
Thank you.
No, 100% it's going to make the impact that you intend to put it in. So 100%.
So again, like my mom was very strong in Hindi, having been brought up in Bhopal.
Uh-huh.
My sister picked up very good Hindi, and in my school PTMs, my Hindi teacher used to say कि तुम्हारी मम्मी कितनी अच्छी हिंदी है, तुम्हारी दीदी कितनी अच्छी हिंदी है, तुम कब छोटा की बड़ी की में फर्क समझोगी. So every time I sit down to do that translation, this comes up in my mind. I said, but
So it's been quite a journey. So looking back at your incredible journey, Jayashree, from accountant to mother, lawyer, author, and mentor, which role has transformed you the most?
others are if not this, then matlab, if not law, you could be doing medicine, you could be doing anything else, but motherhood is something which is is just one very very important chapter in your life, which will definitely teach you a lot. You learn from kids, and as a first time mother, you make mistakes, you learn from your mistakes,
Yeah.
and everything is a learning experience in life. So but definitely motherhood is the most precious one. Yeah.
Precious.
I think being a mother myself, I can totally, subscribe and agree with what you're saying. You've had such an incredible journey, Jayashree. So, it's been a pleasure to have you on this podcast, sharing your thoughts, your views. It's been incredible having you actually, I mean, with
Thank
your
you.
candid conversation and sharing everything about your life. Thank you so much, Dilse, for having accepted our invitation to come as a guest on Her World, Her Words. Any message for the audience that is eagerly, listening to you?
I think I'm nobody to give a message or anything, but thanks a lot, Shailaja and Sukhmani, for having me over. It's been entirely a pleasure, and it's a first time for me. So, bhool chuk maaf.
It didn't look like your first time.
You were a natural, absolutely.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks once
Thank
again.
you.
And
Jayashree, thank you once again for taking out time and for coming on our episode of Her World, Her Words. It's been an absolute privilege to have you and for hearing you share your thoughts so candidly, and it was lovely having you on the show.
thank you for having me over. Thanks a lot, both of you.
So we have a small token of our appreciation.
So sweet.
We
Thank
hope you like it. Thank you
I'm
so
sure
much
I will.
and wish you all the best for everything that life is going to throw your way. I know you're just going to bat it out of the ground.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.